We made it into game. We actually made it into game. What is up, everyone? It is Lovenji Gaming, and I am back with another round of Populous the Beginning's Hidden Cup, the cup where we actually conceal the identities of the players from one another, so you don't go into game with any preconceived notions on how your opponent is going to play. Playing as the red tribe in the red position, we've seen him play already in this tournament. It is Blast. Here's opponent and their map pick. Playing as the yellow tribe, yellow position. It is Lightning. Now, of course, Lightning got a bye, so made it to this round of the tournament without actually playing. So we have seen who Blast is already. We're going to be seeing if Lightning is up to the challenge. Strong converting coming out from both players, and look, I'm a spectator, so we can check with the spectator tool. And go to the map, we can see typical plans, or very aggressive red tower plan, actually on the yellow side of the map there. Very quick. Lots of convert being picked up by yellow on the side strip. Now that second convert only picks up a 2 when there's a 5 there. You've got to be efficient with your converts early on. It all adds up. And red's doing more or less of the same. Early warrior training hut coming out from our yellow player as they build out the base. He's building quite slowly. There could be a bunch of plans being put down here. He's not moving as fast as some of the other players in our tournament. As you can see, there's not very many plans around here. But the red player is not doing terribly fast either themselves. But what they have done is they have got fire warriors up and into towers. In fact, what am I saying? Yellow's done so as well. A quick use of braves. It wasn't even a ghost. It was an actual brave to pull the fire warrior out of that tower. And red is now just pressing straight into yellow's base. Now, red doesn't actually have any spells. He's just looking to be a bit aggressive by the looks of it. The fire warriors are going to push the red shaman out of the base. Get out, they say. And the red shaman is going to walk away. Population's 49 to 50. That is very good for our red player, as red typically gets the worst end of the converts in this level. So seeing yellow behind red already. It's pretty strong. Double warrior training hut has in fact come out from the red player. We'll find out whether that's deliberate or accidental, because they're right next to each other when we see how the red player chooses to play this map. May make an early aggressive play with warriors, and could look great. It does look like our red player is putting both of those warrior training huts to use. The only reason I might guess it might have been an accident is because they're right next to each other. Typically, when you're playing a game of Populous Online, you want to spread out your training huts so that they don't get both taken down by a single earthquake. Now, these are at the back of the red base, so they could equally not be a mistake, because it's quite hard to get this far into the red base. Now, we have fire warriors going to be firing down on the warriors. These early warriors being put to use immediately, which is what leads me to believe this was red's plan all along. Ghost Army producing additional spooky fire warriors as the yellow shaman does come down the hill to contest. Yellow's managed to keep their fire warriors alive, which is well played by yellow, and is in fact even getting a couple of them back in. Yellow throws out a lightning, does not find the target. We have one earthquake for red, one tornado for yellow. In terms of spells, that missed lightning being a bit crucial there. Yellow did have their own warriors to clean up the warrior run-by on the middle. So we've got a couple of fire warriors here. This is either a ghost or just being lazy as the yellow player is not refilling this tower right away. That's what leads me to believe he might be a ghost, because otherwise that's, you know, that's the quickest refill in the history of quick refills. 5 warriors for yellow. This red's double warrior training hut now standing inactive. So perhaps not worth it to invest all those resources into a second warrior training hut. As the populations are dead even, but with more trained troops for our yellow player than our red. Red sporting a couple more braves. Yellow's going to be pushing forward, has a lightning and a tornado. It's going to immediately use the tornado on the first hut they see. Minimap is turned on, which means there's a big red blob that says your shaman is hiding in that hut. And our red player doesn't care. Our red player is just going to go into another hut. Brave being bullied. He sees a wood pile over here. He wants it, but it's not safe. Tower tells him to go away. Red's wasting absolutely no time in just covering his side in towers. He hasn't stretched out as far as we would typically see players see, because these two towers have been cleaned up. But he's got a nice little group here. He's going to open him up to sides, but pushing up here is going to be quite rough. Our yellow shaman does push forward, throws down the lightning. Manages to secure the kill onto the red shaman. The ghost army are going to come down to distract the towers. And there's our first earthquake of the game. The yellow shaman does go down, but not before getting the earthquake down. This is not ideal for yellow. Makes the red base pretty difficult to enter. Red is building a hut here, but you might want to cancel that hut and just cover this in towers. I don't know. What we'll typically see is red will actually land bridge this, fix it for the yellow player. Although I quite like ignoring these hills because it makes your base a little bit more threatening to invade early on when the mana's a bit tighter. So the warriors are being sent forward, and it looks like yellow has sent forward a bunch of braves to collect wood for upgrading. So that's a nice little use of the death timer, taking advantage of while red was not present. Making sure to grab plenty of the contested wood to upgrade the huts. Fire warrior is going to shoot the shaman and immediately be hit by a retaliatory tornado. Enough of your nonsense. There's a red warrior. Where did he come from? Red warrior attacks the yellow shaman from behind as ghosts start to harass this shaman down. Well-placed blast from yellow with a follow-up ghost is going to get red into the water. Well played by the yellow shaman. Securing a kill on red there. Now we'll take a little look at the bases while they are down. That extra wood has indeed been distributed to the back of the base. You can see there are some medium huts already. Good to see the yellow player using some downtime to actually secure those trees and upgrade. Upgrading is a little bit slow, but it is happening. Meanwhile, over in the red base, perhaps paying the price for the amount of towers that our red player has built. Still not completed the build, and a lot of small huts in the base as well. Anyway, back into the game. Yellow's got 10 warriors, 76 pop to red's 5 warriors, 78 pop. Fire warrior counts are 8 to 9 respectively. 27 huts to 28. Our red shaman's just used a land bridge there to give him even more tower space, no doubt. No, he's putting huts there. Whoops. That was an accidental click. I do apologize. Yellow's being a bit lazy about replenishing the defense. We saw this tower go down early. This tower's now been taken down, and all of this space that could be towers hasn't been filled in yet. Now, Yellow's trying to do more or less the same thing, a combination of a well-placed blast and some bullying ghost to take out the shaman. And there goes red, but red actually manages to get the earthquake off this time. The warriors are running. Do they escape the lava? They do, just about. Now, yellow can be happy with that. The damage there is pretty much minimal. A couple of braves dying, and one of the huts being destroyed. Another one damaged. But I'd like to see yellow being a bit more active about replenishing the defense. All of these towers are not filled. These 3 towers are now damaged. And it looks like our yellow player is going to retaliate. Blast coming out, as well as the ghost to distract the towers. Second wave of ghosts, and red has respawned, so yellow does have to be careful here. Earthquake coming out from yellow as she dies, going into the water. Our red players are going to move in here. Warriors from the red player immediately running into the tower. They're not being their most efficient there. These warriors could be used, I don't know, to get into battle with these warriors. Secure some kills, distract fire warriors. But I suppose at this rate, the warriors aren't in any danger. Nope, there you go. The red warriors are in fact being pushed forward, being separated amongst the huts and the towers. Our yellow shaman has respawned and is now contesting their own side strip here. Blasts being traded. It does look like red is going to go down, and red does in fact get killed there. Yellow shaman survives. Plenty of fire warriors, plenty of warriors around to launch a counter-attack. We'll see what the yellow shaman chooses to do as they clear up with a few blasts. There's a nice long land bridge from our yellow player. Lightning creating plenty of space for huts and towers, pushing out the defense, and it does look like they've been more active about replenishing the defense that they lost as well. Forward hut here, additional towers here and here and here. Get them filled. This is the most important thing, as they're currently not filled. Swarm coming out from the yellow player to empty that tower, but do very little else, as an unending swarm of ghosts come back to pressure the yellow shaman in response. There are a couple of real warriors in there, but here we go. The ghost spam is real. Oh, red went into the water and actually got blasted out of the water by the fire warrior. Throwing down a Hail Mary earthquake, not doing terribly much damage. Yellow's happy to see that mana wasted in that way, I think. Going for a fist fight with this warrior. The help of the tower would have won that anyway, but I suppose just wanted to be safe, or at the very least free up the shaman to do something else. So, Ghost going to be coming down for our yellow shaman. Once again, going to be distracting this swarm of towers. Another earthquake on the same spot, more or less. The shakes get a couple of the towers. The earthquake's rubbish. A little bit of RNG and a little bit of poor earthquake placement. Fire warrior getting into the tower, going to apply pressure onto the yellow shaman as they retreat. Meanwhile, the red shaman going to be pushing forward with a small number of warriors. They are going to get into combat with the yellow warriors, but they should win with the additional help of the shaman. Side door coming in here for red. Tornado picks up the red shaman here. Well, lucky throw, I suppose. Actually manages to get the kill on red with the help of the fire warriors in the towers. Now, these red warriors are going to get cleaned up. There are yellow warriors nearby, as well as fire warriors in towers shooting. Red just continues to be a nuisance. He's trickling in warriors from all directions, who's being very annoying, whilst our yellow player is probably just trying to do something else, given the fact that the shaman is in combat. I think there's space for one more hut here for the yellow player, but as yellow's not doing terribly much, we'll take a little look at the upgrade, and you can see the back of the base is almost entirely large huts. There are a few small huts here that should be identified and picked up. I imagine that tornado is on the defense, and that is exactly what we see there. Upgrading for our red player is more or less the same, mostly large huts with the occasional small hut dotted in amongst it. Lightning from red onto a group of warriors. Secures the kill as he continues to push forward. Oh, and actually manages to pick up the yellow shaman, who goes for a roll into the lowest part of their base, which means they've got the worst possible range for any retaliatory spells. And the blasts are traded. Oh, the red shaman is very active about trying to save himself with the land bridge there. Actually creates a nice little wall for defense. This can be towered up. And the earthquake gets a hurt, but again, it's not doing too much. One thing it is doing is it's lowering the general height of this land, reducing the effectiveness of towers in general. So our yellow player has since built towers along the side door to make it a little bit harder to get into. What is going on here? I guess they're getting wood from that tree. Just wasn't expecting to see red braves in that position. For a second there, I was worried yellow was going to walk into their own tornado, but no, a couple of tornadoes from yellow going to be stripping out the defense. Population's 120 to 115, and we can see that as yellow goes on to the offensive, there's no lightning for our yellow player. There is an earthquake, which has just been used, and a land bridge as well. And yellow actually manages to throw down the earthquake and survive the blast, getting out. And we can see not too much damage, but there is now a puddle in the middle of the red base. Our red player is now launching the counter attack. One land bridge, two earthquakes for red. Throws down one earthquake and just walks away. Shaking from that earthquake did more than the lava as 4 towers get shaken down. Lightning from red does find the kill onto the yellow shaman. Yellow is now in a dangerous position as red does still have an earthquake prepared to do damage. Fire warriors have been clicked onto the shaman. They're going to be applying some pressure. Swarm actually misses those fire warriors. Misplaced slightly. The fire warrior pressure does appear to be continuous. They are trickling in. It's not going to be a shaman killing volley there. It is definitely harassing the shaman and stopping her getting into the base. As more fire warriors arrive, they're starting to shoot from all directions. And this could just be the red shaman going down. And that is the red shaman going down. You've got to be careful when you're attacking in positions like that. Once fire warriors start coming from 5 different angles, it can be very difficult to deal with them all at once. Sometimes it's best to just back away a little bit, because then they have to start grouping up to push the shaman. Blast going to clear up the Braves building this tower, or one of the Braves building this tower, as a warrior run by very clever from our red players being snuck around. This is being manually controlled using the waypoint function to try and sneak around the front of yellow's middle defense and try to do a little run by into these towers and into some of these huts. Meanwhile, our yellow player is clearing up the defense with yet more tornadoes and the use of a couple of warriors. It looks like yellow's warriors are going to find red's warriors. The run by was a nice idea, but it has been detected. It has been spotted. What does yellow have to work with here? We've just seen yellow throw down a swarm. 2 land bridges. Oh, well saved. Second land bridge. Oh, our red player is actually attacking at the same time. So it looks like we've got a base trade going on here. First earthquake does come down from our yellow player. Yellow shaman going to die in a couple more shots. There it is. First earthquake doesn't do terribly much damage. And now, in exchange, the red player is just going to get into the base. Perhaps not the best idea to go for a base trade there, as double earthquake comes down from our red player. Let's see what RNG says about this. It could have been worse. Could have been better. Could have been worse. A very middle of the road earthquake there. What they needed was an erode to help them out. If there was an erode there, that would have been sick. Red player does go down, fires up one blast onto a group of Braves to clear them up. Just in time for our yellow shaman to respawn. The population's 146 to 106. The yellow shaman has double earthquake, so could launch a counter-attack, but you've got to like red's position more because of the sheer number of towers. Look at all these towers. This is This is a screenshot if ever I've seen one. It's just wall on wall of towers. And this is going to be very difficult for the yellow player to attack into. Whereas if we tried to do the same POV for our yellow player, it doesn't have the same effect. I suppose it would look better if we went from this side, but even then, it's not the same wall. Intimidating towers. A couple of towers going to be built though. It's important that yellow continues to try to replenish defense. Needs to stall out the game for them to have any position of potential to win. Large number of warriors though. Let's see what the plan is for the warriors. The lightning goes down, doesn't find the shaman or the warriors, in fact, misses everything. Retaliatory light from the yellow shaman as I lost sight of where she actually had gone. Manages to secure the kill onto the red shaman there with a well-placed lightning. Lots of troops now. We'll see what the warriors are doing. These warriors are just stood around having a chat, talking about the weather. Yellow shaman gonna have a quick pray to the volcano Stonehead on this 1v1 variant of the map. This is Volcano, it's not Armageddon. That said, Armageddon has a terrible track record with my tournaments. The ghosts are going to distract the towers, and the yellow shaman actually does manage to throw down one earthquake, but now we're in a position where red has respawned and yellow has just died. And the earthquake isn't even that great either. The warriors that red sent at the front were cleaned up, but the yellow warriors at the side have been killed by red. So it's good to see both players are still trying to troop. They're both trying to trade populations. We'll swing on over to red as red launches the attack. 4 lightnings, 3 tornadoes, 2 earthquakes. That's 1 tornado. That's 2 tornadoes. Where will we see the third? The lightning going to be used to start clearing up some of these towers. As the annoying Braves start to harass and slow the shaman down, they're actually getting some really good pushes there. Oh, I wasn't sure what was happening there. Red dies trying to cast an earthquake. Fortunately, this is 1.5, so he does not lose that earthquake. As a well-placed light from yellow manages to secure the kill. Population differences are starting to... Red is starting to run away with it. The 164 popped to 110. 18 warriors for our yellow player. 19 even to the 19 warriors of the red player. So it's pretty much dead even on warriors, as both those warrior training huts are in a well-secured position, so they haven't been touched. Nice little warrior run by here, going to get a bunch of kills. Quick pushes as well, so they get those kills in the shortest amount of time as possible, as our red player throws out 1 lightning, waiting for the shaman perhaps to get tied up before the second lightning comes down. Tornado actually picking up the shaman. And yellow's alive. Yellow is alive and in a position to potentially use a firestorm. Does go down as a well-placed blast sends them flying into the water. There is a firestorm onto the 3 huts. You're going to get those 3 large huts for your troubles. I want to know where yellow managed to get the mana to charge a firestorm. It's very clear. Yellow has said, do you know what? Sod this. I don't want to push into this. This is a nightmare. I'm just going to keep going around the side. And yellow's warriors actually haven't all been cleaned up. And they're doing quite a bit of damage. Now, is red answering like for like with warriors? It does look like they have. Large number of red warriors did get into yellow's base. Now, while yellow's population is more or less the same as what it was the last time we checked, those warriors did get into the fire warrior training hut and deal a little bit of damage. We missed the shaman duel there, in which the red shaman has managed to take out the yellow shaman and has thrown down a firestorm. This will probably be GG unless these fire warriors manage to clear up the red shaman. They do clear up the red shaman. Yellow is still at a significant disadvantage, but has managed to hold on. This can all be towers. Make this all towers. Yellow typically expands away from red anyway, sort of down here and around here. So there's no harm in just saying, do you know what, I want all of this to be towers. Look at what red's done. Just rows and rows and rows of towers. Make it happen. Turtle. You keep leaving your base open to easy counterattacks, you're going to keep taking damage. And in these trades, although our yellow player did manage to get some damage in here, yellow's definitely getting the worst off of the last couple of trades that have happened in this tournament game so far. Blast coming out from our lightning player as Blast's warriors are pushing into the base. See, this is why I'm not using player names and I'm using player colors. Because I start saying, like, Blast is coming out from... Lightning is using Blast on Blast warriors to clear them up, and it makes no sense. Anyway, we've got lightning from the red player, as well as a tornado just going to push into yellow's base. But JK, there's a puddle. Okay, yellow shaman just cannot be bothered. Just gonna have a little go at fighting a couple of men with pointy swords and not winning that fight, believe it or not. There's a lot to be controlled when a game opens up like this. We can see a second Fire Warrior training hut actually out for our yellow player. Our yellow player is sporting 2 Fire Warrior training huts and 3 Warrior huts. 2 Warrior huts and 1 Fire Warrior hut for our red player. But the extra population that the red player has, showing a very strong advantage, as red now has an armada of spells available to him. And it looks like red is just avoiding wherever yellow sends their shaman, forcing yellow to chase them around the map. In fact, yellow isn't going to chase them around the map. Yellow is going to attack. And by attack, I mean get pushed into the water by fire warriors. Fantastic. So, red now has a completely open base to push into. Only fire warriors going to be able to mount for the defense. We take a little look at red spells. Red does not have a firestorm, so he can't just freely push into these troops. Fire warriors are continuing to be annoying. They are bullying the shaman, but as you can see, she hasn't got stars yet. She's not low health. Plenty of blasts coming out. They've got... Red has the mana for these blasts. We're going to see 1 earthquake. We're going to see 2 earthquakes. We're going to see anything at all. No, Red's just going to... Red's just going to tuck his shaman in this hut. It's premium real estate. Yellow Fire Warrior fires a shot off onto the red shaman. Yellow shaman is back and is focused more on cleaning up the warriors, as yellow fire warriors have been clicked onto the red shaman. The red shaman has managed to clear up those fire warriors, and it's exactly what we're saying. When all the fire warriors are coming from the same direction, they're much easier to clear up. Yellow has clearly just had enough of red shaman and red shaman's shenanigans, spamming earthquake on the front of red's base as the fire warrior training hut was taken out by a tornado. I'm not sure what that tornado is going to achieve, but it goes off into the distance. Probably a little bit of a misclick from our red player. Yellow shaman is still alive and still continuing her push into the red base, while the red shaman is continuing to reside in huts and actually goes down. I don't know what red was doing with their shaman there. Could have at the very least used 1 of the earthquakes. It's not like he doesn't have 164 pop and could have got some of that mana back. But we'll go over to yellow. We'll see what yellow has available to them. Yellow has the ability to die, so that does not matter. Population 78 to 166, but we can see why red was not paying attention to their shaman. Because it's warriors. Warriors galore getting into the front of the yellow base because yellow has no defense because they've all been clicked on this shaman. And they're actually going to take out the other fire warrior training hut. If this goes down, that means the yellow has 0 fire warrior production, and fire warriors are a very important unit in all elements of Populous, but especially on this map. There it goes. Down goes the fire warrior training hut. Nothing left for yellow to do but produce warriors. See, does yellow have the land bridges? Yellow has a single land bridge, so a well-cast land bridge might give yellow a place to build a fire warrior training hut. What remains of yellow's fire warriors trying to hide themselves in huts, but they get sniped down by the red shaman, who's going to drop double earthquake on the front of yellow's base. knowing that yellow has no access to fire warriors, just keeping the pressure up as much as possible. How does red survive that? Red had stars, gets hit by a direct blast, and is still alive. Well placed blast trick. Does look like this will probably be GG for our yellow player. Put out a very impressive game, number 1, against our player Blast, who we have already seen emerge victorious in 1 round of the tournament so far. Population 174 to 58 and dropping. Yellow's running out of mana, is running out of populations, going for one last Hail Mary push, throws down the swarm, throws down the last earthquake. See what it does. Could be yellow's last earthquake of the game. It does fuck all. Of course it does. Now the red shaman was cleared up, but at this point red's going to troop very aggressively into yellow. Yellow's got 3 warriors, red's got 22 and 20 fire warriors. So red has more trained troops than yellow has braves, which is never a position you want to be in. So it does look like game number 1 is going to go the way of Pop TB Blast. Now this wasn't Pop TB Blast's map pick, in fact. This was Lightning's map pick. Which means our next match is going to be on Hollow Fields 2, which is Blast's map pick. So we'll see if Lightning can put out a competitive game on Hollow Fields 2. Lightning did very well. This game took 32 minutes. But I actually felt like it was more of a back and forth than some of our other longer games that we have cast in the tournament so far. So well done to Lightning, who does go down in game number 1 of this round of the tournament. Here we are. What is up, everyone? It is Lovenji Gaming. We are back with match number 10. Populous the Beginning's Invisible Cup Tournament. I am your host, Lovenji. And down 1 game, playing as the yellow tribe, yellow position. It is Pop TB Lightning. This was not their map picks. They are looking to make a comeback from the results of the first game. Up 1 game, playing as the red tribe, red position. It is Pop TB Blast, who we've already seen Blast win a game already, whereas Lightning had a bye. So we are unaware of who the identity of Lightning may be, whereas the community has started to guess who Blast might be already. Lots of fun. If you don't know what the Invisible Cup is, it is Populous's first attempt at replicating the successful Hidden Cup within the Age of Empires community. It is a tournament where you hide the identities of the players from one another so that you don't go into game with any preconceived notions on how they play. It also offers the community a little bit of fun in guessing who the players actually are based on their playstyles alone. And there's been a lot of guessing going on so far. It's been actually quite entertaining to keep a track of. So the way the guessing will work is at the end of every match, I ask the community to say who they think the players are. Those votes get correlated. And then the most frequent vote becomes the community prediction vote that will then get captured in a bracket at the end of the tournament. But anyway, that's enough about how this tournament works. Here we are on Hollow Fields 2. It's typically a 2v2 map, but in this instance it is a 1v1 with the players having access to the entire base and all the wild men and all the tree harvesting responsibility that comes with it. So we can see that red is building in a very particular way. He's built the back of the base in a grid so that he can fit in the maximum amount of huts as possible. But the middle of the base, he's scattered around with various towers, and it looks like double fire warrior training hut I think I saw in the worldview as well. And this is going to make the base very difficult to push into this wall of towers at the cost of all the wood. You've got to remember, a tower is 5 wood versus the 3 it takes for a hut. At the cost of all that extra wood, red is going to have a little less mana, but be much harder to attack. And in fact, it looks like Red's brought some Braves along and is just going to push into Yellow's base straight away. The population's already 57 to 45. Red Shaman just being annoying. Look at that, that's very annoying. Blasts are traded by both Shamans. It looks like blast tricks are being attempted. The Red Shaman's going to walk away. She's got stars, but that direct blast should see her dead. Well-placed blast trick from the Yellow Shaman's going to keep her alive. So if you've never seen this map before, it is quite a common 2v2 map these days. You have one part of the path which is directly connected by land. This part is a land bridge away. Tornado from our yellow player. That was the only spell that our yellow player had. In fact, it was just the one tornado. Well-timed blast. Stops that Fire Warrior getting into a hut. Blast needs to follow up to secure the kill, and it does. Now, Red has all these towers, but they're not filled. And Yellow's just pushing forward, being a bit of a nuisance. Applying some pressure. Shaman-based pressure. And you can see that Yellow has built very, what we would call standard. Yellow is still building as if they have an ally. So they are just going to build their central point of control and slowly expand out towards the edges. Making sure to take care of wood as you go. So we looked at these red towers and they were all empty earlier, but now they are starting to be filled with Fire Warriors. The Yellow Shaman was successful in dealing 1 wood's worth of damage to that tower. It's going to be 90 seconds before that tower can be repaired, even if you bring the wood pile to it. You can see that Red has curbed his building. He's not filling in all of this. The double Fire Warrior training out is helping because he's getting out a lot of Fire Warriors to fill all these towers that he's built. And Red Shaman is going to take 1 more blast from the tower. The Yellow Shaman should have ignored the Red Shaman there because that Fire Warrior tower blast was going to secure the kill with the Shaman on stars like that. And in fact, turning around to get the last blast was what made the Yellow Shaman go into the water there. So unfortunate, but these are the little micro decisions that Populous players have to make in a second. It's very easy to sit back and say you should have done this. That being the person that does it. We can see the trees are being well maintained. A couple of them have been killed. There should be more trees here. I don't think I haven't noticed. But there are still some there left to be harvested, and a reasonable number as well, so that the wood should be okay. As you can see, Yellow's got lots more trees available in the center, and is doing their best to keep them harvested as well. Let's see if we witness a tree cutting. We did not. I was curious. Ghost coming out from the red player, going to be distracting the defense. And aggressive Fire Warriors being used in the push as well. What is going on with Yellow Shaman there? Rolling in all sorts of weird ways. Now the Fire Warrior pressure. Red brought some Fire Warriors with him. The Fire Warrior pressure is going to threaten the Yellow Shaman. Yellow does the smart thing and just tries to back away this way. Away from the Fire Warriors and therefore away from the expected push into the water. Now all these red ghosts are going to give the Shaman a good old shove, but she just manages to avoid it with a well-placed blast. Ghost's going to be idle, soaking up a couple of tower shots, but it looks like Red's decision there was to push with the additional Fire Warriors gained from having 2 Fire Warrior training huts. And that didn't really work out for Red. Yellow handled that very well. But if we take a look at the population, 68 to 52, Red's booming population growth starting to show itself. Red's got a tornado and an earthquake and a swarm. Yellow holding just a tornado right now. Does have a few warriors though, whereas Red does not even have the training hut up yet. Oh, we saw that. Saw that. Tree died. And another tree. Just, you hate to look at this. We have just witnessed absolute deforestation there. The yellow shaman going to be picked up by a red tornado thrown immediately into the water. As a fire warrior fires a couple of shots onto the shaman, 2 more ought to do it. Unless the shaman gets a high roll. And 1 more. There you go. There's your 4 fire warrior shots. Securing the kill onto the red shaman. Well, a couple of yellow warriors are actually picked up by that tornado, and if they're both thrown into the water, that's a nice little unintentional pickup. You get one of those warriors with the tornado. It's better than bugger all. 25 huts for red to 27 for yellow, so the fact that red's population is much higher implies a degree of upgrading. So we do have a couple of large huts here, as well as plenty of medium huts. If we go to the yellow base, you can see barely anything is upgraded, and so that is the difference in population. Oh, we got a Brave of Shame. There's our Brave of Shame. I can't see him. He's invisible. Oh, there he is. There's the Brave of Shame. It looks like red has trained some warriors, sending them to the front line, as once again we're going to see yet another shaman duel. The red shaman does go down, lands after the spell in range of the tower, and the tower just gives the shaman a gentle nudge into the water. Red shaman now going to push forward with a large number of warriors. A fire warrior very subtly dips into that small hut. By very subtly, he's literally walked past some red warriors to do it. And fire warriors have been clicked on the shaman, so it looks like there's going to be an attempt at stopping red getting in here. Red does have access to the 2 earthquakes, so could potentially deal a lot of damage, especially because of the way that yellow has built. Yellow building in your standard grid style means earthquakes can be damaging once you get in deep, but I don't think red's going to get in deep. He's going to throw them on the earthquake, on the edge here. He's going to panic. Yeah. Edge earthquake, that's your best case scenario for yellow player, losing only 1 hut to the destruction of the earthquake. Getting a nice little defensive puddle. Only the 1 warrior training hut, but as you can see, at the cost of all these trees, red's upgrading has been on point. Look at all this. We can see quite clearly, without going to bird view, the sheer number of large huts, because they're quite distinct. Plenty of large huts and some medium huts as well. Yellow's base is still mostly small huts. Earthquake from yellow. Where is the shaman repositioning himself? That is nonsense. Oh, she gets out! Colour me surprised. So the yellow shaman is alive and pushing red's front, but here is the obvious move from red, who has double earthquake in the chamber. Just gonna do this 1 land bridge, and now the map starts to open up with 2 paths to attack down. Yellow's base slightly undefended, as the red shaman still alive and probably going to get in. There's your first earthquake. Do we hear a second? There's the second. Double earthquake coming in from the red player, and it forces the yellow shaman to retreat as well. That's what a lack of defense will do for you. Those earthquakes did plenty of damage. They did plenty more than this first one, that's for sure. A couple of fire warriors being clicked onto the red shaman, but they were just the distraction as the yellow shaman throws down a lightning to secure the kill on the red shaman. Red has no mana available to him, but 8 warriors and even braves being sent to the front lines to try and deal some structural damage to the base. And the population's 110 to 62. There's the power of upgrading for you, as all these small huts are just completely not upgraded. Yellow warrior going to get a kill on this warrior. This warrior will kill about 6 braves before he goes down, as will this warrior. It doesn't look like a warrior's been clicked to counter him. And we got Ghost pushing around the Yellow Shaman. Yellow Shaman now stuck on a hill. And actually even getting further down the hill every second because of the Fire Warrior volleys. It looks like the warriors that ran into the base have been cleaned up, and now there's Fire Warrior pressure just absolutely stopping our Yellow Shaman from even getting up on this hill. Every time we look away, Yellow Shaman's still stuck down here. Incredibly annoying. And the ghosts, are they going to get the pushes? Are they going to get the ideal pushes? No, they're not. For some reason, this ghost is like, I can't find her. She's right here, buddy. Well-placed Fire Warrior volleys, but fail to find the mark onto the Shaman. It looks like this might be good game, as Braves are being pushed forward into the yellow base. Blast coming out from our red player to clear up the Fire Warriors that have been... Where was that lightning? Not sure about that lightning personally, but the double earthquake is going to more than make up for it, as the damage across the yellow base is absolutely obscene. This is going to be a good game, I suspect, with Blast taking down his second opponent, and that means Blast moves forward into the round of 8, and once you make it into the round of 8, you are playing for prize money. That is correct. Every position from the round of 8 onwards is actually worth money. So Red has guaranteed himself a payout of $50 US just for making the round of 8. Earthquake coming out from our red player. Going to deal even more damage. There's really not much to say about this game now. What we're going to be seeing from red is just a continuous production of warriors, and you can see it at the huts and even Fire Warriors. And they're just going to keep getting sent forward into the yellow base because they'll kill population, thin out yellow, and yellow can stall this game for as much as they want, but ultimately will lose under the trooping pressure. It's not about your shaman anymore, it's about your troops. That's how you win a game of Populous. And although the red shaman goes down, that means very little for our yellow player, as Fire Warriors are even starting to patrol around the core, and they actually get the kill. Aggressive warrior trading hut from our red player, and aggressive towers as well. Building in your opponent's base. Your base is my base now, says our red player, as we wait for him to close out this game. And he'll advance into our quarterfinals, our round of 8s. Now remember, as this is the first match where that becomes relevant, our quarterfinals are best of 5s, which is why there's only going to be one a day once we get to that point. Best of 5s, meaning aside from the 2 maps that get banned, potentially all 5 maps will get played, with our grand finals being a best of 7 with no map bans. All maps being played. Assuming that someone doesn't win on 4 games in a row. Red's doing what Red needs to do. I would have liked a couple more warrior training huts at the back of the base. Lightning fails to find a kill with lightning. Does much better with blast. Should have just stuck with blasts. Blast gets killed by a blast from lightning. There you go. So hold on. Using player names, that narration is ridiculous because it's lightning misses blast with a lightning, but then takes out blast with a lightning. No, then takes out blast. Then lightning takes out blast with a blast. See, I'm getting confused just trying to think about that sequence of events. And now you know why I use colours instead of the player names. So our yellow player is really just dragging out the inevitables. You've got Fire Warriors patrolling all over the spots. They won't shoot buildings, but they will shoot any raves. Yellow's going for a Hail Mary attack. Yellow doesn't want to die without using their 1 earthquake. There it is. Lakai. Oh, nice little kill there. That's the story of the game for Lightning, really. Earthquakes have been absolutely atrocious. The Red Warriors swarm Yellow's base. 15 population and dropping. Final population count for Red, 137. 13 of which are warriors. Lots of mana for Red. Lots of troops. We're just waiting for the end of this game to be closed out. Red's earthquaking himself. There goes Yellow. GG, says Yellow. That is going to be the end of Lightning's tournament life. Well played, Lightning. You're a good sport. Gave us a good Yggdrasil game. Perhaps slightly outclassed on Hollow Fields too. Blast is going to advance.